The Sabertooth cat is a playable that requires a lot of skill and patience to master, and yet people often complain that it is overpowered, when in reality all of the saber's abilities depend on its skill. And here I will teach you how to counter and exploit the saber's weaknesses. To begin, I'll just teach how to just do one-on-one. Here I spot another saber cat, and one of my first instincts is to mark it and then trail it. Your strength as a saber often depends on the initial ambush, as you are an ambush hunter that has very limited stamina. Here I jump him, spooking his prey, and he retaliates. But let me slow down this footage. Here he's using his pounce attack, which actually does less damage than his regular paw swipe. This is likely inherited from Wolf, where his special attack is actually stronger than the normal attack in that it applies bleed. But for Saber, it is the opposite, which is why I think Wolf is a pretty bad tutorial animal for the playable. While I managed to combat him and ultimately win, I utilized these wave-like maneuvers where I twist and turn in these half circles, but I go and land my hits, which tends to be pretty effective for dodging and reciprocating the damage. I just need to adapt to the situation in which it's happening. Now, when it comes to actual saber packs, you need to be way more careful, and you need to exploit one of Saber's major weaknesses, its horrendous stamina. Once a Sabertooth cat player is out of stamina, it is at your mercy unless it has a competent group mate. In this recording, I actually fight against this saber duo who are semi-competent. See, two sabers can absolutely outbulk one saber. Here they waste a lot of stamina with their sprinting, and the brown one actually runs out of stamina, so I prioritize it. And then, from there, I just tail ride it the best I can. Even though its groupmate tries to defend him, its groupmate isn't huddling close enough for the defense to actually be effective, so the cat dies. After its groupmate's death though, the other cat pursues me. While it does, I try to sprint and then sprint in to try and get free shots on the other cat. And when I think it's out of stamina, I do try to tail ride it to get more attacks in. Unfortunately, it had bad internet and was managing to hit me from places it really shouldn't have been able to. And since my stamina is also low, I am forced to face off with it. Unfortunately, this encounter does end in me dying, but that does not change that the death of its groupmate was entirely preventable. Neither of them had to die to get me. Although I have a partner in this instance, another saber sprints toward me and runs out of stamina trying to fight my groupmate. However, his partner actually regroups with him, and together they end up dealing extra damage as he shields his partner from me and my groupmate attempting to kill it. I distance to try and get my bearings and then go in for more hits, but my groupmate dies and my first instinct is to flee. Initially, this gray saber gave pursuit, but another saber pack distracted it long enough for me to survive. In this instance though, me and my groupmate have been ambushed. Notice how closely we stay together as we fend off the other saber pack, which means shielding my groupmate's rear so that they can't get free hits without risking a hit from me. The other saber pack tries to do the same thing, but ultimately my groupmate manages to land more hits. The saber's paw swipe does 0.25 bleed every few seconds. Here that comes into play, as I end up with around 3 stacks of bleed from all the paw swiping, and alongside my low health, I need to retreat to regenerate my HP or else I'll die of bleed. But fortunately the other sabers die before I do, and I'm able to survive this encounter. Here I ambush this saber duo. While I am alone, I shouldn't be an issue for both of them to handle. However, I hit this one while it's resting, which drains a large portion of its stamina, and they themselves are late to react to my ambush. Here, I actually try to bait them into using up more of their stamina before I directly engage. However, this one hitting me from far away because of its bad internet causes me to attempt to retaliate. I mark one and then go in to fight a little more, occasionally sprinting to land in these free hits. This one just randomly pauses mid-fight, and I'm able to get some good hits on it because of that. However, the other one appears to be out of stamina, so I focus a little more on him, but he was just kind of being a bad fighter. He tries to defend his groupmate as they flee towards the main group, which is a full pack of 5. I retreat as well, however this one remains in combat with me, and the group doesn't check him. He runs out of stamina, and from there it's a cakewalk. His fate was sealed as I managed to kill him, and then I go towards the pack, laying down to regenerate my stamina as I stalk them. This is a good few minutes of stalking as I get my bearings and choose the perfect moment to ambush this pack. That time eventually comes when I spot this member laying down. I hit him, and he's all out of stamina from the get-go. And from there, his fate is also sealed. Though I am able to tail ride him, I do these little swervy motions to try and avoid hit trades. Then I stalk the remaining sabers, going in a little early as I see him pant. However, I had misjudged just a tinge, and now both of them are after me. Fortunately, they are using the pounce attack, which does way less damage, as I focus on the saber I had previously damaged. Now there's 3 on me. This is a bad matchup, as 3 sabers can easily overpower 1, but due to that one only using the pounce attack, I don't take enough damage to have to flee. I notice this one laying down, and I go in to attack it. It is confused and dazed, and this other one appears to be out of stamina as well. It tries to defend its groupmate, however I manage to kill him and then focus more on the one still out of stamina. The other one isn't staying as tightly knit with its groupmate and isn't using the right attack to properly ward me off. So this one ends up ultimately dying as well. And from there, this other cat has wasted its entire stamina bar trying to fend me off. When I notice I'm hit trading too much, I start spacing out my attacks instead of just tail riding him. This proves to be effective as he also ends up dying. That's basically the gist of fighting sabers. They're pretty easy to fight once you get the hang of it and know for which weaknesses to exploit.